أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Respected viewers, my name is Asif Parvez and this is my presentation number 23. And as you know, the theme of my presentation is Holy Quran and Science. Now today I will talk about the darkness number 3, which we called as infrared waves, or sometimes called as infrared light. Now first of all, I want to go back to the verse. Allah Ta'ala says on the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور. And its translation is, all praise belongs to Allah, who created the heavens and the earth and brought into being every kind of darkness and light. Surah Al-An'am, verse 2. The key points are, all praise belongs to Allah, who created heaven, earth, every kind of darkness, and that's the topic I am talking about in this program, and of course light. Now I've shown you this picture before, light spectrum. So today I will be talking about the third darkness called infrared rays. Now these infrared rays were discovered by a scientist. His name is Sir William Herschel, and he discovered in 1800, roughly 220 years ago. And he did a very simple experiment. He passed the light, ordinary light, through a prism. And light splits into 7 colors. And he put thermometers on each color just to measure what is the intensity of heat for each color. And by accident, he put a thermometer outside the red light as well. And he measured that they are different temperature. But he was very surprised to note that the thermometer, which was outside the visible light, its temperatures were higher. So he said, how come? Is there any light going there which I can't see with my eyes? And of course he was right. And he concluded that there is a type of light which obviously we can't see. So that's why Holy Quran had called it as a darkness, and he called it as infrared waves or infrared light. And it is next to the red light. That's why I use the infrared. And as I said before, it is hotter than the visible light. Now, human eye can't see it because God has not given this power to us. And I think this is a great blessing. And I tell you why. Had God given the power that we could see infrared waves, then we could see through a person's body. Clothes will not matter anything. And I will show these pictures later which have taken infrared. So I say this is a great blessing of Allah. However, some animals, like snakes, they can see infrared rays, and that's how they catch the mouse and the frogs. I remember when I was working as a mission lecturer in Sierra Leone, Africa, and a town called Bojibu, and there, as I said before, there was no electricity. So sometimes if we have to go out the house, there are lots of snakes. So we have to take a torch, and we could see snakes running around the frogs and the rats and catching them. Now its frequency is very high. Difficult to read, but let me try. It is 10,000 million to 1,000 or 1 million hertz. Very big number even for me. It's huge. That's the only thing I can say. So its frequency is quite high, even higher than the ordinary visible light. And that's why it is hotter, because more the energy more the frequency, more is the energy. That's the golden principle. And you'll be using, actually, you're using it all the time. This is an example of a remote control. And who hasn't got remote control nowadays in home? And you just sit there, flick the channel that you can watch. And with other remote control, you can even watch the internet. So we are using it. So it's not just hypothetical thing. And we are using it all the time. And now the COVID-19 is going on. I'm afraid that it go away because it created a lot of trouble on this earth. I mean, this is year started in year 2020, and this is now we are going. It's nearly ending of January 2021, and it has killed millions of people. So if somebody watching this program, say in 100 years' time, then they will realize what kind of suffering we human beings have went through it. But anyway, important thing is they have built, like, let's call it a gun, which is a temperature gun. So they point at somebody, infrared goes, touches their forehead, comes back, and they can measure the temperature. Because one of the signs of COVID-19 is that it gives you high fever. So by doing this, they can check if somebody has fever. They say, please go away, get your COVID-19 test. I mean, thank God, my and my family have not got it, but we have got through this test as well. And in fact, I have got my first injection as well. Now, this is a picture I'm showing you. If we eyes could see infrared, because infrared, as I said, is a heat waves. It comes as a heat. So everybody generates heat. So, for example, if you look at this face, over the eyelids and over here, and particularly around the throat, because there are a lot of jugular vein going there, and blood is always hotter. So there you can see it, and you can imagine if our eyes could normally see this thing, then you know, clothes we wear will probably become meaningless. So it's a great blessing of Allah Ta'ala. I always think things in that sort of way. But however, there are cameras available now, and you can see these, photographs of human beings or other bodies. And infrared is a very useful thing. Don't say it is just a darkness and, why. No, everything which Allah Ta'ala has produced, and this is a golden principle, there are benefits. Some we don't know today. I mean, like nobody knew about this benefit, say 200 years ago. But today we know is control the pain of an injury. It reduces the inflammation. It helps the wound healing and improves circulation of blood. And this generates the cells. I mean, I have personal experience. A couple of years ago, I had a knee replacement, and I tell you, it's very painful operation. And the recovery process is very long. It hurts a lot. And I went through this, infrared treatment, and it helped me a lot to heal my wounds. In plants like infrareds, and their stem becomes much stronger. They give more flowers, more fruit. Obviously, everything is bad, but God has regulated it. So as long as it comes in a regulated fashion, it helps the plants to grow. Now, as I said, infrared generates heat. That means even if it's a pitch dark, our body is still generating heat. So it has a great military use. So the army, they can literally see their opponents, where they are, what they are doing. They can watch them, and then they can take appropriate action to defend themselves. Now, one example I want to show you is this, what we call a heat-seeking missile. It is a missile, but what it has got, sensors in it which can detect heat. So infrared sensor there. So imagine aeroplane is flying, and it generates, because it generates fumes are coming out which are quite hot. So this missile follows it. So if the aeroplane goes up, missile goes up. If the aeroplane goes down, missile follows. So it follows eventually, it hits the aeroplane. So it's a great technology which is used by Air Force. Now, sun is a very large source of infrared rays. In fact, it is estimated that 50% of the light, light means ordinary light, and the heat light which comes to us is infrared rays. Now, small quantity is good. Too much is bad. It helps, as I said before, in the pain relief, in relaxation. And but be careful, and we always say wear some sort of body cream that it could affect on your retina, on your eye. So be careful, but enjoy it. Now, infrared is also used to take images of the terrestrial bodies, like sun, like stars, and other bodies which are there, which emit these radiations. So they are galaxies. So these radiation are used to photograph them. And by doing photograph, we can see what is up there in heaven, what God has created us. So infrared is a wonderful method of understanding the creation of God Almighty. Thank you very much for listening to me. Jazakallah khair. God bless you. Wa akhiru dawana. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.